memorable for me. And the second is, you have had a great speech right from the start to end. As psychologically, I am more prone to remember the start and the end. Now, the end would have been much better had you closed or summarized it in 2 or 3 key takeaways. For example, so ladies and gentlemen, when you negotiate in your next deal, always remember, don't trust too much on someone. Don't be desperate on closing a deal, and take care of the tone of your voice, because the same response can be uh, given in a different tone. All in all, you had great personal stories throughout your speech. You created intrigue and had interesting examples. Just take care of focusing more on the character and summarizing in 2 or 3 takeaways. And I look forward to you winning more such negotiations in your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ramanand. And may I now invite Toastmaster Atul Srivastava to deliver the evaluation for the speech delivered by the second speaker.
Sure. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning. When I read the speech title of Toastmaster Anusri, "Are You Listening the App Way?" it immediately got my attention. I immediately knew something very interesting is coming up. And yes, the speech was very interesting. In fact, I was not very much sure that there are many listening apps available in the media or in the internet. And she started her speech in a very nice way with the quote from Peter. Then in the body, she talked about 8 to 9 listening apps. And in the conclusions, he was very clear in saying that we should not be parasite on listening apps, because listening is an art. So her message was very clear, and she was very energetic. She was forceful in whatever message she wanted to give. Whatever she told throughout the speech made a lot of sense to me. However, I was just trying to compare her speech with the objective of the project. Objective of the project is not only talk about different communication styles, or emphasize on one communication style that has impacted the speaker's life, or that communication style which has affected others. Of course, listening is one part of our communication. So this topic is fine if you have chosen it for this project. But then I found that this topic or speech was very much biased, speaking against the listening app. I was looking forward to finally what you have adopted. If you have adopted listening should be, coming from heart and mind, what are the niceties of the listening skill that you have adopted? What are the mechanics of listening through heart? All those things I was trying to focus. So the job that you did was nice. You talked to us that we should not be parasite on the listening apps alone, but listening is a great art. But then you should justify why listening is a great art, what things you have adopted in your life away from the listening apps that has made you beneficiary, that has made you a better Toastmaster. So I felt that speech was a bit incomplete, though whatever you said made a lot of sense to me, but I wanted to listen more towards the end about your transition from listening apps to what made you a good listener as part of your communication style. So in future, if you are talking, my suggestion would be that if you are talking, make the complete justice with the objectives of the project. And also I found that you were looking downwards most of the time, not in the camera, to address to the audience. And finally, your background was lighted up, and that's why, eyes were not fully visible. So the setup of the virtual background is also important. So these were three of my suggestions, which I would recommend you to incorporate. Overall, wonderful speech, very clear message. Only thing, try to align it with the objectives more in future. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Atul. And now may I invite Toastmaster Sitaraman to deliver the evaluation of Girija's speech. Over to you, Sitaraman.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Before I commence, I just wanted to ensure I'm able to see the cards, which is currently not visible.
Girija, you may have to share the screen. You were not sharing the screen when Atul was talking as well. So you need to share the timing screen. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Is it visible now?
No.
Okay, I shared, but is it visible now?
It hasn't opened up as yet. Yes,
Yeah,
all right. It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, General Evaluator. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests, and our target speaker today, Toastmaster Girija. Or should I sort of refer you as the Hermione of the Philosopher's Stone, trying to discover Professor Dumbledore, in this case happened to be Professor Sate. I really liked the way that you started off your speech. To me, it felt like walking through a garden of roses and discovering Professor Sate eventually becoming your mentor. As you started the narration, I felt like a gentle breeze blowing along in the garden of roses that I was trying to describe. It was so pleasant. You chose a very narrative style as you delivered your speech, Toastmaster Girija. I did feel like observing both of you. It's a scene enacted where you are talking to Professor Sate and there is a table in front and discussing. That sort of a narrative style is quite important so that, it kind of engrosses the audience. So that part was pretty much good for me. From a transition perspective, really looking at how Professor Sate had evolved as a mentor for you, you very nicely narrated from being so-called a strict or a villain to a hero. So that part again was quite apt in the way that you described. Like the beautiful, opulent display of bright colored roses that we could really see in the garden of roses, I felt that you had an excellent use of idioms in your speech delivery, like rock the boat. Interesting usage of metaphors that I found. Dream killer, I think that's the word that you had used. Proverbs like slip between the cup and the lip. That was very, very apt as you were describing your interaction with Professor Sate. At the end, you had nicely concluded, you linked the title of the speech, which is The Philosopher's Stone, and how you have become his protege. The delivery part was spot on. I did not see anything unusual about it. Excellent pauses, great vocal variety. The questions that you had raised for Professor, the part where you were describing the interaction was very apt. Nice eye contact. All of that was okay. A few things which I would call the weeds in this garden of roses that I would like to describe to you would be, initially you had a few false starts. You might need to really look at and correct it. You explain a speech 3-4 words, and then suddenly you jump into another sentence. So that's sort of a false start. Couple of things that I had observed. Maybe you may want to really reflect on it. And more to a content delivery part, the context that you had set up with respect to the dependable, how Professor Apte was dependable. I personally thought there could have probably been a better illustration to highlight how a mentor would also be a dependable, because I was personally, as an evaluator, could not really connect to that incident in the hotel. And like our previous evaluator was talking about, when you're describing, it was so apt. I was talking about a scene. maybe you had given some character, how Professor Apte would have looked. Did he have the beard like a Dumbledore? I don't know. Such sort of a descriptive tone could have also helped us visualize how this interaction would have all been. Overall, a great speech. I felt instead of a Harry Potter, a Hermione and a Professor Dumbledore walking together in the Garden of Eden, except that if you remove those weeds, I'm sure the speech would have taken up several notches ahead. Overall, an excellent speech. All the best to you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you,
Thank
Sitaraman.
you.
Girija, can we have the timing report for the evaluator speech?
Yes, I'll just. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, good.
Okay, yes. So, Ramanand took 2 minutes, 23 seconds. Atul took 3 minutes, 15 seconds. And Sitaraman also took 3 minutes, 20 seconds.
Okay, so they all qualify for the voting.
Yes.
You may stop sharing your screen now.
Yes,
The
yes.
timer screen. All right. Now that we've done with the evaluators giving their report of the prepared speeches, I will now invite the R counter to give his report of the meeting. Sorry, can I have Dr.
Penny Iyer.
Sukarna Iyer? I'm sorry, I said
Hello, everyone.
his.
No problem. I'm Toastmaster of the day and fellow Toastmasters and guests. To start with, first, presiding officer Kusuma. 4 times a, 1 time, once, but twice, so thrice, like once. I think the next one is Dheeraj Deshpande. He has, myself, I'm overcoming that one. So 9 times he has done it. So better luck next time. Speaker number 2, like Anushri. 5 times twice, but twice, really twice. So saw and, that was quite repetitive. Girija, once twice 5 times so, once seriously, like once, cruel, repetitive twice. Sometimes I also do this one again and again. So table topic speakers, Gaurang, once, twice, so twice, other off, quite repetitive in nature. Shripal, 6 times twice once, that's it. And but also similarly, twice thrice twice, twice. Then I think Atul, am I right? Atul, once thrice like twice. Ramanand, twice thrice twice, twice. Sitaraman, once and like 4 times, twice. The evaluators, to start with Atul, it's twice thrice twice once, like 4 times, twice. Evaluator Sitaraman, twice 1 time 3 times, like 2 times, twice, 2 times once, or I mean once. Otherwise, it was overall very, very expressive. All the table topic speakers. From my side, is my thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sukanya, for the R counter report. And now may I invite Dheeraj to give the grammarian's report.
Thank you. The word of the day, chronicles, was only used by Shripal Shah and Evaluator Sitaraman, sir. There were some really good usages today in terms of the sentences. Like, for example, Toastmaster Kusuma used the sentence, "Dreams cannot be built over nightmares." That really caught my attention and got me back into the fold. Toastmaster Girija also used terms like, "I was heartbroken, crestfallen," and she also used robbed the boat. Toastmaster Anushri used the app age. That itself actually was pretty pretty attracting to me. Toastmaster Evaluator Ramanand Bhatt used the sentence, "all our eggs in one basket," really beautifully. There are some areas of improvement for everyone. I myself have a lot to improve on from today. For example, Toastmaster Kusuma, she was actually saying a sentence. She said, "from so," and then suddenly she moved to "and." So that was a bit incorrect. Then Toastmaster Girija Deshpande, she was in a sentence where she said, the," and then she suddenly repeated the sentence by saying, "my director." So the "my director." So it felt that was also a bit off. Then Toastmaster Anushri has a tendency of repeating sentences sometimes. For example, she says "free game," and then she says "free online game." I did some research again. I did some research again online. So that is something that has to be looked upon. In terms of pronunciation, I didn't find anyone making a mistake. For just one small mistake by Anushri, maybe. The word "empathetic" wasn't pronounced correctly, if I heard right. So that is all I have for today.
Thank you, Grammarian Dheeraj, for that wonderful report. And now for my general report of the meeting. The meeting started on time at 11. I think we have to keep an eye on the time because we had over-enthusiastic members who said, let's begin, and it was just 2 minutes to 11. So we should be careful, because remember, there would be guests who they would miss out if you started early. If you have to stick to time to begin and to end on time. So keep an eye on the time. The meeting was something to do with history. The Sergeant at Arms began the meeting welcoming everyone and mentioned something about Winston Churchill. That was good. But I think since it was history, the mission was relegated to the past pages of history. It was not mentioned. The mission of the club had to be mentioned by the Sergeant at Arms, but I think it got somewhere missed within the pages of history. So we must be careful and remember to state the mission of the club. Introduce the Toastmaster of the day very well. The presiding officer come Toastmaster. But we have to be careful that when the person is introducing, so if we forget and wait for the Toastmaster, for the Sergeant at Arms to again introduce the Toastmaster of the day is incorrect, because we lay great emphasis on listening skills and we have to be very attentive. One very important thing is each of the main role players must have and keep an eye on the agenda. And that's why the agenda is prepared with specific time and timing there for each of the sections. I love the introductions that Kusuma had for each of the role players. The grammarian was introduced and he's already submitted his report, but there are a few things that I would like to add that probably could have been missed. the good usage, we may avoid mentioning who said what, except for the word of the day. I said the word of the day once. That was not reported. And in the good usages, we did have the African proverb that was said right at the beginning. Perspectives to history, trust was shaken. Give a little, take a little, benchmark to follow. Cruel to be kind, slip between the cup and the lip. The philosopher's stone. History is not completely linear. The past is a great marker for the future. Intrigues the listener. These were good usages of the English language. The incorrect usage of the language, irrespective of age, older or younger. Irrespective of age is either older or younger. So the words need not have been emphasized. It could have just said irrespective of age. In the table topic, it was educational minister. It's education minister, not educational minister. In the table topic, the article was missed. How important is the past? Not how important is past, but how important is the past? Much more easy. There's one word for that, and let's say it's easier. The word is easier instead of saying much more easy. I think we as Indians love this much more, and this very, very to emphasize that it's really, so avoid very, very, and use the single word that is there. We must also be cautious if we are speaking where we have a non-Indian audience. We must translate what we have said. For example, I heard the word kari patta, I heard the word chidiya, and na tumhara na hamara. These need to be translated because we are having the English language that is being spoken in this meeting. The pronunciation, there was one error in pronunciation that I heard, and somebody said advertisement. It's wrong. The correct pronunciation is advertisement, T-I-S and not T-I-S-E. Advertisement is wrong. It's advertisement is the correct way of pronunciation. The accountan's report was good. It showed that she was attentive. Table topic master. I loved the humor that he had when he said, I was addressed as Tatyasaheb. Wonderful. That set the mood and kept, it was history and it was very heavy. And there he broke it, saying, yes, Tatyasaheb came. And so the mood was set. The topics were good, but we have to be very careful. It has to be said twice. And you can't keep the screen on for eternity, because you are learning to develop the 4 skills. You mention the topic only twice, so listening skills, then thinking skills, then organizing, and then delivery. But if you keep that open there and keep on reading it, you are not going to improve. So you need to take off the screen, just give it there, say it twice, then keep it for just 2 or 3 seconds and knock off. Because see, you were sharing the screen and the timer was not able to do it. So we had a lot of talking in between, which we shouldn't, because if we have organized the meeting, we must organize it well right in the beginning itself. So these things need to be avoided. I guess I've mentioned all the role players. And now some general observations. We need to avoid saying the word everyone or those present here. Why should we say why should we address or greet somebody who's not in the meeting? So everybody who's in the meeting only we are addressing. So let's avoid saying everyone. Say fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters, or fellow Toastmasters and guests, and avoid saying all those who are present here. I would suggest that we first invite the evaluator to read the objectives of the project before we even say who the speaker is. And the evaluator may avoid mentioning the name of the speaker. The evaluator also needs to be careful because he or she knows who is the speaker. So just do not read whatever Toastmasters International has printed on the objectives, his or her. You know it's going to be either his or her. So only say his speech or her speech, but do not say his oblique her. Avoid that. And then the Toastmaster, they can say, invite the speaker, give the intro of the speaker, and then call the speaker, and then mention the topic. Please mention the topic. I found that I didn't hear the topic of the speech. Just a second, I need to connect my computer. And we are back. Sorry for the break. I would have loved if we had called for the timer's report after every section. Now what happens is the agenda is already there. The timer will say, okay, we had this problem in between, so we have lost time. And the next section began 10 minutes late. So that if the timer had announced that these are the timings for the prepared speeches, and then say, as per the agenda, we are running 10 minutes late. Now that is a cue for the next person who is in charge of that section, and that is the table topic master. I would have prepared 10 topics, but that doesn't mean I need to have 10 speakers. No, I must be wary of the time that is allotted to me. Even I have been allotted less time. I need to complete my part of the meeting on the time that is mentioned in the agenda. So we must be careful because we are running over time as it is now. So when the table topics was given to the table topic master, the section, it was already 11 minutes delayed. And when the table topics was over and I started, it was 12 minutes. So it was just 1 extra minute in the course of things, but in the actual agenda, it was 10 to 12 minutes. So we have to be careful. All the 3 people have to be very careful about the timing and look at the agenda and then start giving more topics or not. We may avoid saying yeah, Y-E-A-H, because that's a very American way. In India, it's best to say yes, because yeah is more slang. And when we are public speakers, we need to avoid and say yes. That's a more polite way of saying. In speeches, we may avoid saying or telling the audience we are going to conclude in conclusion or before I end. These words should be avoided when you are speaking. Come naturally to the end. Do not give an idea to the audience at all in your speech. We must be careful when we are addressing, because at 12 noon, somebody said, it was already past 12 noon and somebody said good morning. So we have to be very careful and look at the time before we actually say it, because that's where, as a public speaker, people begin to look at you and see, oh, you are so precise in talking and being correct, even to the addressing the audience as per the time that is you have come on. So those were a few of the things that I saw today, and we need to make amendments as well. Thank you very much, and over to the Toastmaster of the day. You're on mute.
Thank you, General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Arvind Nair. It is always a pleasure to listen to your feedback, because from what we were and what we have become, I'm sure you have seen our progress, and it's all because of all of you guiding us, correcting us, and I'm sure all of us are taking it in the right spirit. And thanks a lot for all your guidance in all these months. Yeah. Let me now introduce Mr. Samuel Thomas. He has been very enthusiastic to attend our meeting. Samuel, would you like to talk something about yourself?
Hello, everybody. It was nice being a part of this group today. I'm an IT consultant. I help small businesses with IT solutions and training. That's what I do. I'm based around Andheri area, so I was looking for a Toastmasters club based on recommendation from a friend, and I saw is this club based around Powai? That's what I saw in the maps. I think that's what caught my attention. So I'm liking the meetings on Zoom as well. It's a pretty convenient. I was not able to attend from the beginning because I had another meeting. So probably I will attend again as well. So I even love the general evaluator's remarks as well. I can see that, if I join this group, there will be a lot of scope for improvement in public speaking, especially with presentations just being the norm every time. And I do that quite a lot as well throughout the week, giving business presentations and other stuff like that. So thank you for the warm welcome, everybody. I will be back here soon.
Thank you. So we will now,
Samuel, you could have taken the opportunity to speak as a table topic, because there are too many ers and ahs that you have just said, and our counter would have pointed this out to you. And if you say you are an entrepreneur and giving presentations, well, you could have known that you have to reduce the number of ers and ahs, or else your audience will begin to lose interest. So
absolutely. That was one of the core reasons why I decided to join Toastmasters.
Good. All the very best.
So welcome, Samuel. And we hope that the Toastmasters will be, we are very happy to include you in our club. And we hope you will also be equally happy. Thanks a lot. I now adjourn the meeting for today. But if anyone has any comments or any questions, we can discuss it. Girija, Sukanya, Dheeraj, Tatya.
Girija, what happens is if you are not able to share the screen, then you must put the lights on the background, just like Gaurang had.
Yeah.
That would have been easier. Have both the apps, both of them with you. Whoever's the timer, let them have both. I don't know. Somebody was saying that now we're going in for timers for lights. Is that true? I don't know. And we are having a meeting this evening, a joint meeting. Some of the members are already here for the joint meeting this evening. I wouldn't know whether we're going to use lights or cards, because I have to keep informing the timer who is my mentee. But I've already shared with her whatever has to be done. But depending on how we're going to use it, she will do that.
I think virtual background is better because, we can even show it on the screen. So even the speaker can see the background and,
the virtual background is better.
Yeah.
So even the lights can be shown on virtual background.
Yeah, virtual background.
That's also better.
Yeah. So most probably we may be having a physical meeting after 2 weeks. We were about to discuss that. So, and most probably we'll be having it somewhere around Andheri side, the JVLR road. We have not yet decided, but I think all are very enthusiastic to meet personally because we have not met each other at all from the time we've started this club. So let's see, and we'll have a proper discussion before we decide. Yeah. So shall
Are
we
we
call it
going
a
to-
day?
So if you say that we are going to have timer lights, then do we have to buy the lights or what?
No, it's an app.
Apple.
It shows, it just changes. the
Yeah,
light,
but
so you
that will
can-
be only as long as we use Zoom, right? But then if it is going to become in person, then we can't.
No, that's, you can still
Yeah.
use cards.
Yeah, okay.
Because what happens with, I do not know now whether that Toastmasters International, they used to buy the lights from them, and you had to actually, you would hear the tick when the
Yeah.
lights change. So you knew that the timing was.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Arvind. It
Oh,
was excellent.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a great weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay,
Sukanya, for
Raman,
joining.
thanks a
She had
lot.
some BJP
Yeah.
meeting and still she
Bye.
joined. Thank you so much. A lot of work was there. Thank you, Sukanya.
She's a very busy BJP worker. We have seen her in action during COVID. She's done a fantastic job. In
Yeah.
fact, our club also had a lot of work with her. That's how we know firsthand how much she has worked.
Now also I
Sukanya.
have a meeting with BMC people.
Yeah.
One more award has been given to Pawai.
All right.
So it's a lot of work for elections, BMC elections.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
you know how maddening it is. So I was about to say that, I come from an imperfect world. So where there's no restriction for like, so there's total bombardment.
And we're always saying so.
So there is a paradigm shift for me from imperfect to perfect world.
No, but
Oh,
lovely.
what you would have is voice modulation and body language, probably flaying your hands.
That's how we have to restrict. I have to restrict that. I will learn. I'm a learner, so I'm going to learn a lot. I've learned a lot in these schedules. I hope to learn a lot from all great people like you all.
Thank you for
Even I
joining.
have this problem of depending on my papers. So my gestures are always restricted. So that is something I must, I know what is my drawback, but working on it, I don't know, it's taking a while. Yeah, although I want to work on it, but it's somehow not happening. Like I was not actually supposed to speak today.
Okay.
2-3 days back, one person dropped out.
Same
And I
here
put it,
also.
yeah, no
For
one,
all of us, it changed. So only
all of us
Anushri
it
was
changed,
there,
right.
even for me also, just one day before. What to do?
So every time I think that next speech, I'm going to really be well prepared. I'll stand in front of the mirror. I'll do my gestures. I will talk properly. But that day has still not come. I think that day won't come. I have to go to that day.
So
Mohammed-
as a saying
Muhammad
goes,
cannot go to mountain, so mountain must come. That
as the
doesn't
saying goes,
happen.
the best production is yet to come.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Arvind.
Bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thank you.